feel alive. I'm just trying to make you feel something.
Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the Sleepover. It's me, Sleep. And yeah, we've had a really good month full of releases and content the entire month of February, which was a goal of mine. It's kind of how I wanted to start the new year out. But, with all the fires in LA and things like that, got out to a slightly slower start than I anticipated. But, so far, February, we really got a chance to go check out V with the Layover Project. And then we got into V's Tiny Desk, which was awesome. And then we went off of some suggestions and listened to a couple of the different, the Slow Dancing Band session and Le Jazz de V and some of the other things like that. And we also got a chance to have another virtual DJ party for the Map of the Soul anniversary, which was really dope. And J Hope released a song that week as it was a feature. Don Toliver released a song called LV Bag featuring J Hope of BTS, banger produced by Pharrell, I believe. And yeah, we actually listened to that on stream after the DJ moment, and then the feds, aka YouTube, blocked us and they shut the stream down, maybe because the song was too new. Yeah, it just came out the night before, so yeah, they shut that down. And J-Hope just announced that he's putting out a song next week featuring Miguel, so I'm sure that's going to be a banger. Can't wait to hear that. I saw some people tag me in it. I guess he played it at the show. And I also saw the set list floating around. And I'm not sure if that's just kind of like how they do things because, I guess the concert was available for stream. So I'm assuming that they don't mind, the set list and everything being out and, him showing the feature and all these things like that. Me personally, being an artist myself, and knowing that I'm going to go see the show live, I don't want to see it before I see it. So I'll wait. I just totally scroll past the track list. I don't want to know the set list. I don't want to know the guest features. I don't want to know what the new song sounds like until it's actually released so I can listen to it on my beautiful speakers or my beautiful headphones because I know how much work goes into the art, and I want to hear it how it was intended to be heard. And that is not a knock on any of you guys. I know you guys just get excited and you want to hear it how you want to hear it, but let me hear it how I want to hear it. So, yeah, I will see the show live and I will, give a review of what I loved about the show, after the show gets here. And, it's pretty cool to see, I know he did Lollapalooza before. He had to go do his military enlistment. And, I seen, how you guys all showed up for that. And it was amazing. Huge crowd. And it's just really cool to see artists just kind of like be able to just go on tour or be able to take a hiatus, a bit of a hiatus, and then come back and know that they've got fans that are excited to see them go on tour. It's been a long journey for all of them in the group, and it's cool to see all the hard work culminate to a moment where all 7 of those guys can have a group career, they can have a subgroup career, they can have a solo career, and it'll be supported, by millions and millions of people. It's really dope to see. And we also got back to the podcast, which first episode that I did in quite a while was speaking about frequencies in music and why they matter, the frequencies that you take in and how they relate to the universe. Really fun episode. And then we got into why new artists fail and streaming numbers and how that relates to the record deals that the artists sign. And I think I'm going to release that tomorrow, and interested to see how you guys enjoy that. But that leads me into like the next thought that I had, which was overnight successes and things like that of that nature, or what people deem to be overnight successes, which to me is pretty interesting because I think that for the first time, well, at least the first time in history, as it pertains to just how we all see, like how it feels possible for everybody to become an overnight success, if that makes sense. I think the advent of social media with user generated content has created this illusion of overnight success on a broader level. You have, the possibility of a viral moment. And how many stars have we seen created over the last few years, just off of a moment? You have, there's too many to list. And this has created a subcategory of fame, in my opinion. And I think it's also made a lot of people feel like they can skip a lot of steps in the process of becoming successful. I think that before my time, and no pun intended, but before when I was younger, just 90s, seeing like 90s A-list stars or, just different, you had to have some kind of talent, it felt like. Like you couldn't just become this whole thing without having some kind of talent. And now you have, people, no disrespect to, someone like the young lady, like who's out just having drinks at the bar, and she made the whole Haktua joke, and all of a sudden, she's being brought out at music festivals on stage, and, she gets her own podcast, and, all these different things happen. And just as quickly as it all happened, she was involved. Someone took advantage of her platform and offered a meme coin to her audience, and they did a rug pull and scammed all of her followers out of millions of dollars. And just that quick, we saw the grand opening of a career and the grand closing all within a year's time. Because for one, I don't think it didn't seem like she was the type of person that sought out to be famous. And two, her whole level of fame was completely built off of just a viral moment. No work, no real foundation went into building a career in entertainment. It was just a night out with some friends turned into a moment that momentarily and forever changed her life, And that's the interesting thing about success and the levels to success. And I think that a lot of people are often in the pursuit of getting there fast, but the faster you get it, it almost seems like that's how quick you can lose it, or you will lose it. So it was funny, like, when everything kind of first happened with, me connecting and working with BTS and like the reaction, I remember I opened my phone, someone who I ended up becoming friends with, I think she had found, I was mentioned in some interview, or I can't remember how she came across my page. I think I had, 2,000 followers on Twitter. And I pretty much had 2,000 followers on Twitter for like legit like 10 years. And, I opened my phone. I think I was in Mexico. Yeah, I was in Mexico. Opened my phone, and all of a sudden, my page is everywhere. It's tagged in all these different articles, Korea Boo and all K-pop, and I'm being tagged by all these different people, and everybody's wondering what the song's going to sound like. And I had some of my friends who saw like the energy building, and oh, this is crazy. And for everybody else, it kind of probably seemed like it just happened overnight. But like I said, like for me, that's 10 years of work, finally like catching up. And you fast forward a little bit right now, 2025. Things with my brand are starting to kind of take off a little bit. Sponsorships, people calling about those things. Brand deals are starting to happen. And for a lot of people that are discovering like the videos me and V are doing on YouTube, for them, I just appeared out of nowhere. Some people who watch the videos, they leave comments and they don't even realize that, I actually produced a song for JK, for BTS. And so, excuse me, but like the way people are gravitating towards what's happening and the people that are finding and discovering, me and for my ability, the big records that people found me for, these things happened years ago. I wrote the song and created the initial, demo track from my time in 2019, summer 2019. It's 2025 now. And GOAT for Eric Bellinger and Wale initially had a totally different feature on it. And I think we wrote and produced that in 2015. A song has gone on to become independently platinum, which is a really big deal. And it was also a song that was featured on so many Who's Looking lists in Korea. And it is partly one of the reasons why a lot of R&B started to kind of follow the structure of that record. And it's also a big part of the reason why Big Hit reached out to me, because, I produced that song and, I had friends over there already. And so now between both of those songs, across, Spotify and Apple Music alone, they both have, collectively over 1 billion streams. And only now, a decade after writing GOAT, which pretty much led to my time, am I kind of getting like the industry attention for it, So overnight success, it just doesn't really exist. Not the kind of success that you get to hold on to, It's just the moment when years of unseen work kind of finally pays off. This right here is a clip. I want you to pay attention to it really quick.
Videos are just going to be just as large. I mean, well, I was getting pretty depressed towards the end of last week. And I was like, dude, we have maybe 40, 50, 60 videos on the site, but I'm not, I'm thinking, okay, so if I'm actually a user of the site, I'd be gone in 4 videos, because there's just not that many videos that I want to watch. Videos like this. Yeah, you haven't watched this up. It's gonna be I'm not gonna put this up. This is lame.
That was a clip from Chad Hurley, who's the CEO, Steve Chen, who's the CTO, and Joed Kareem, who was the advisor and the first video uploader of a very, very small video platform that you might have heard of called YouTube. So you can hear in the video, their frustration with feeling like, no one was paying attention to what they were creating. They had come from being PayPal employees, and they founded the company in February of 2005, I believe. And so the idea for YouTube, it just kind of came from their frustration with how difficult it was at the time to find and share videos online with each other, with friends and, things like that. So eventually, they sell the company for, I think, almost $2 billion to Google. And I think they bought, $1.65 billion in stock or something like that. And at the time, it's considered a massive deal. In hindsight, it's probably a bit of a steal, since YouTube is worth so much money today. But the point is, they went through the moment of feeling like, damn, we're trying to create this thing and it's whack. It's only 40 videos on this whole platform, and we're trying to create what we see. I'm sure part of their vision was to have YouTube be what it is today, where there's millions of videos and millions of hours of content that you can just watch. And, today, I think that they say YouTube is worth somewhere between 300, 400 billion. And, just the revenue growth has just been higher and higher and higher over time. It just keeps growing, keeps growing. It looks like one of those forever companies that's going to be here forever. Even for myself, it's hard for me to even remember that. You realize that there was a time before YouTube actually existed. And every day it's a platform where people spend, I think they get 1 billion hours of eyeballs just every single day, which is crazy. And it is the second most visited website in the world, and it's only second to Google. I know TikTok had kind of jumped up there in this space for a period of time, but, we'll see how long TikTok lasts. YouTube seems like it's going to be here forever. So today we're going to break this all the way down, how the grind kind of just sustains over a period of time and why people only see the result and not the process. And how if you don't understand this yourself on your own journey, then you might quit something right before you actually have your own breakthrough. So there's a big, misconception of the blow up, the glow up, the blow up. People love to say like, man, like, you blew up overnight and all these different things like that. But success doesn't really work like that. Think about your favorite artists. By the time they blew up by blowing up standards, they already put in just years and years and years of work. Like you take BTS, for example, and there's lots of people who in just the last few years, pre-pandemic, leading up to the pandemic, who in their minds, it just felt like they came out of nowhere. You saw them on Carpool Karaoke and Jimmy Fallon and all these different things. And nobody knows, like those people don't know that, 2013, they're performing in small venues, empty rooms, on the streets, handing out flyers, asking people to come see them perform for free, getting ignored by the industry for years and years and years and years. And by the time they become the biggest group in the world, they'd already put in literally, 10 years of work to get to that point. You have to lead up to debut, and by the time Map of the Soul comes out, there's just years and years and years of work, and even becoming successful in other markets before having that blow up crossover completely to the States. Same with me. Like, I didn't just pop up in 2024, 2025. In 2015, I was restarting the second half of my career. I had a pretty good career as a younger producer and songwriter. Lots and lots of ghost production, lots and lots of ghost writing for some really big producers and really big legendary, songwriters in the industry. I worked under them during a different time when it was a lot easier to be iced out. It was a lot easier to get left off of the credits. Because, back when everything was physical, you say like you do something for someone and they're like, oh, to get this across, I can't add you because it's going to delay everything and it's going to be a problem and this and that. And you only have up until the time that the CDs are going to get pressed up and the booklets are going to get made to get put in the credits properly. Nowadays with streaming, things can be added later. The creators have so much more power because if you are not getting your fair share, your lawyer can actually have a song removed from streaming platforms. But I came up in the industry at a different time when that didn't exist and the big mega producers and songwriters had all the power. And so, 2015 was the beginning of me starting the second half of my career completely out of all prior deals and working on getting everything completely on my own. And I was making, GOAT with Eric Bellinger, who another songwriter, excellent songwriter, who had a lot of success up until that point. But as a solo artist, his records had done pretty well, but he hadn't had a crazy independent smash at this level yet. And neither one of us knew what would come from it, when we made the record that day. But it was a moment that would definitely change and shape both of our careers. Excuse me. In 2019, I was working on My Time, just another day in the studio. I was excited about the opportunity. Industry wasn't necessarily checking for me at the time. There was some work coming in because My Time had GOAT had really started to take off, but not to the level it should have been. And now, 10 years later, it's almost like they're acting like I just showed up again, like out of the blue. I'm getting a lot of calls for work, a lot of opportunities coming my way. And this is the truth about the industry. Overnight success is just a long-term work finally being recognized. Going back to the business side of this and why success can kind of take a while is, People don't realize the music industry legit runs on a delay. You could write a hit today and not see money from it for years. That's on waiting to get the song on an artist and all these things like that. That's one side of it. But I mean, like, you can have a hit song and that artist can put that song out today and it will be at least about 12 months before you really even get your first like real check directly from the publishing royalties of that song. And if you go do a publishing deal, which now you have to have a partner on your copyright, they will pay you in advance for that. That even takes, enough time, because lawyers have to go through paperwork and all these things. And you might be completely broke at the time trying to get a deal done. And they're just kind of just going through the process, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 8 months later, you finally sign a publishing deal. So these things are not instant. You can have a song go viral on TikTok today and you might not see that check from right now until 2027. If you're in America working on K-pop records, those probably work on about an 18-month delay, 18 to 24-month delay. So by the time you see any royalties from a big overseas record, almost 2 years are going to go by before you ever get a bag for the work that you've done. So, it's just about sticking to it and believing in the work and believing in the work that you're doing. That's why I tell artists now, if you quit, you'll never know what's on the other side. You don't get to pick when you blow up. You only get to pick whether you're still grinding and going when it happens. There's a lot of power in just staying ready, The biggest reason why artists fail is, or not even just artists, the biggest reason why we fail in our pursuits is we just quit too soon, And I feel really bad for the younger generation because everything that you're seeing on Instagram and on social media and things like that, it looks like instant gratification everywhere and it's probably killing your patience. It's probably like just completely annihilating you going through the journey to get to where you want to be at. And I'm telling you right now, like the journey part of it, once you actually get to the other side and start to make money and you actually achieve like some of the goals that you have written down, when you think back on these times, what you're going to remember most is going through the process of getting to it. All those writing camps that we did for the Map of the Soul project, that's what I remember, And all of that led up to the day that the record released. And that's what I remember, how crazy the fans went, how crazy Army was going over my song in particular, but over the full body of work. And like so many people are in danger of like not realizing that because everything they see is instant gratification. And you guys want to skip that to just get to what, you might think is, the private jets or just it's all these things that just absolutely don't matter, You expect results in a year, 2 years, but real breakthroughs happen, 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, 10 years down the line. If I had stopped everything that I was doing, in 2015, after I left my old situation, or even in 2018, I would have never seen my time happen. I would have never seen my time take off, and we would never have met. You wouldn't be listening to this podcast right now. Most people give up right before the magic happens, but the truth is, the longer you stay in the game, the higher your chances of winning. The longer you sit at the table, the more likely somebody's going to pass you the chips, You don't need to be the most talented, but you need to be able to be the last one standing. The industry doesn't reward instant success. I don't really even think like life rewards instant success. Life rewards consistency. And the more consistent that you can be going towards something, the more you improve your odds and your chances of it really, really, really happening for you, And so, like I said, in 2013, BTS was unknown, In 2015, for me, GOAT was just another song I was working on. I ran into Eric. A friend of mine, Melissa, had reconnected us, and she had set up the session. And, we had a couple records that we did. And all of them came out, too, which was really great. And in 2019, My Time wasn't even released yet. And now at 2025, billion streams amongst the records, and now so many people in the industry are hitting me for work and wanting me to work on this artist and work on that artist. If I had quit back then, then none of this would exist for me, and my time would never be a record that happened. So my message to you is just keep building. People will say it's taking too long, or I know it feels like nobody's watching, but if you stop, you'll never ever see what's on the other side. Success isn't an overnight thing. It's just hard work that's finally caught up. I saw a quote from Bill Gates that said, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and they underestimate what they can do in 10. And, that's very, very, very real. A lot of times when people make a plan to do something, you ever notice how, you always want to make a plan to try to get healthier or go to the gym more while you're eating something bad? You're taking a bite out of a donut and you're like, yeah, I got to get back in the gym. And then you make all these plans, like I'm gonna start working out tomorrow. I'm gonna run 5 miles, do this, and it's the same principle. It's overestimating what you can do in a short time and underestimating what you can do over an extended period of time. And I think that level of messaging, it needs to reach more people. And I do understand what a lot of people are up against. I'm up against it myself too. I have a lot of goals that I have yet to reach. And, I'm not completely in position, whether it's financially, to try to achieve the things that I want to achieve. And I see other people with the opportunities right in front of them that I want for myself. And, they might be doing it. They might be doing it at a level that I think that they could be doing better. And, I want some of those opportunities myself, but I can't look at what somebody else is doing and feel like just because they're able to do it now that I won't be able to make it happen over this, over an extended period of time. That's my main focus. And I want you all that are listening to really understand that, this is it's a marathon. It's a marathon. Shouts out to Nip. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Whoever gets it the fastest doesn't mean that they get to keep it the longest, And, so whether you watch virtually or you make it out to a show, when you see, J-Hope going on his tour, just remember, that's 13, 14, 15 years of real hard work to have the kind of career that he's had and been able to be a part of. It's a lot of work, a lot of work. A lot of physical strain on his body, mental strain. This industry is not pleasant. I don't care what side, the Korean side, the U.S. side, the European side, whatever. This is not a pleasant industry to be in. So anybody that can stay at the table that long and go through just whatever you have to endure to be here, it is a lot. It's a lot of work. And it's good to see him, getting ready to rock out and do his thing. It'll be good to see all of them get out and get right back to it. It's good to see Jen hit the ground running as well. And this is a long game. It's a long game. And if you're gonna have a career that can change your life and your family's life, it's probably not gonna come from going viral, on TikTok. It's not gonna come from not having the work. I saw a lot of people were really in shams over, when TikTok got banned for, 24 hours before Dum Dum just made it all about him, really. And, a lot of the sentiment that I saw was people saying, well, how is music going to be discovered? How is music going to be discovered? And my question is, how are careers going to be built? How are we going to get back to doing the work to build a career? A viral song on TikTok, it's really meaningless if you never want to know who the artist is. A viral song on TikTok is meaningless if you don't want to know who the artist is. You know, people have asked me how or why, in a day and age where everybody's attention span is so short, why my episodes on YouTube are an hour, or, you know, why I get on here and do, you know, these podcast episodes, which are, you know, 30, 40 minutes, no guests, just me sharing my thoughts and trying to do it in a concise way, but still be impactful with, you know, the subjects that I want to talk about. You know, people ask, why am I doing this at a time when people's attention spans are shorter than they've ever been? And if you look at my TikTok, you know, the running joke is I don't want anybody to follow me on TikTok, but I don't post much stuff there. You know, even Varnell has been like, oh, we should post clips from the show on TikTok. And I'm like, yo, you know, you can break down the clips and go do it. It's not that I don't want to, and it's not that I don't want to spread awareness and try to get people to come back and see the long form content. It's just that I want to make long form content for the people that want to see it. You know, we keep on making the excuse that people's attention spans are shorter and shorter and shorter, and we keep feeding into that. But it doesn't mean that we have to. You know, they haven't stopped making bookstores, so there's still people who want to read, who want to listen to podcasts. I don't think podcasts would be a big deal if everybody's attention span was short. So I'm putting stuff out there into the universe for the people that want to come find it. And, you know, over time, you know, I see more and more people when they keep coming. And a sentiment that I see from people is like, I've been looking for something like this. You know how good that makes me feel when I see people say that they've been looking for something like what I'm doing or what me and Varnell are doing together collectively. It just kind of lets us know that, you know, we're on the right track and we're not chasing trends. You know, I'm all in on long form content, even when we have fun doing our skits. You know, they're attached to longer pieces of content, and for me, it's about excuse me. For me, it's about, you know, making meaningful connections with the people that enjoy spending time. And, you know, I don't care if you listen to something when it first drops or if you have to hear it a week or two later. I know how life is. Just, you know, get to it at some point. You know, throw me on a playlist and vibe out with me and talk in the comments and things like that. Because, you know, if you started finding me in 2020 when My Time in Map of the Soul came out, you know, I'm fully invested and very interested to see what everything looks like for me in 2030. Success is a long game, you know, and, you know, making meaningful things is a long game. Like, the reason why, even as this started, you know, the first week or the first month of doing this podcast, it had hit number 2 on the Spotify music charts in the whole country. And that blew my mind. And a lot of people were saying, oh, you got to continue, you got to do this, you got to do this. But, you know, these are my thoughts. This isn't commerce. This is the stuff that's really going on in my head as I'm thinking about things and I analyze things. And for me, the most important part of everything that I'm doing is to keep the art in it, keep art first. And I believe that, you know, the game will reward me for caring about the art form in the long run. So I see a lot of people get ahead of, you know, where I'm at or move faster and get more opportunities. But I believe if I stick to the things that I'm doing, then I can have a long and meaningful career and continue to just impact lots and lots and lots of people. And, you know, overall, that's my goal. So So, you know, I'll leave you with this here. This is a quote that I love. It is from Aubrey de Grey. And it is, your future self is watching you right now through your memories. I want you to just kind of just take that in, you know. Just take that in. Whatever journey you're on, whether it's school, getting a degree, getting further education so you can make a move at work, whatever it is that you're planning, whatever you're doing, just remember your future self is watching you right now through your memories. Make sure those memories are worth remembering.
Lord, everything you need, come and see a real one. Time for you to feel alive. I'm just trying to make you feel something.